In every festival filled with laughter, there is always a dark corner that no one dares to touch. A small village hidden behind the mountains, the blood-red sunset light drifts across the shabby roofs. The camera pans to a man lighting a fire, the firelight reflecting in his eyes, tired and anxious. 10 years ago, at a festival that the whole village had been looking forward to in just a few hours, that joy was drowned in black rain, the well water turned to mud, the food rotted in just a few minutes. And since then, no one has mentioned it, except the only person who knows the real reason. The image of Jerry, a middle-aged man, his eyes hard but heavy with something unspoken. His name is Jerry. A husband. A villager. And also the one who opened the door to an entity that did not belong to this world. Flashback, shaky image of a white-bearded old man, knocking on the door, begging for food, then being pushed to the ground. No sound, just tense background music and a slow heartbeat. He asked for a piece of bread, a cup of water. But what he got in return was an insult, the anger of a man too proud to bow down to help. The sound of festival drums, people laughing and talking. Jerry and his wife, Gina, hung lanterns, cooked food, called people. A long dark shadow passed behind the screen, but no one noticed. Now, after 10 years of silence, Jerry is celebrating again. But there is one thing he doesn't know. The curse does not forget. And those who were not invited have begun to return to the table. The doorbell rings, click click click, very softly, but sharply. Jerry opens the door. A strange man stands before him, tall, thin, with sunken eyes, a strange smile on his lips. Alcar, warm but emotionless. And my name is Alcar. I have come to cook feast for your festival. Darkness gradually swallows the screen. An eerie whisper is heard from afar. Feast ye the forgotten. A story not for the faint-hearted. Hidden in the mists of the southern forests is a village that has no name on the map. There, people live in harmony with nature and coexist with things that do not belong to this world. The camera slowly pans over the dense forest, the majestic mountains in the background. Wooden houses are scattered under the shade of ancient trees. Children play in the sun, adults set traps, collect herbs, burn incense to worship the forest god. Narrator. The villagers believe in Engkanto, ancient spirits who guard the sacred forests and poisonous springs. They believe that everything has a soul, and the festival is the time when the boundary between humans and gods is at its thinnest. The sign hanging above the communal house, Pistahan, Wish Festival. Festival preparation scene, pot of cakes, hanging oil lamps, people eagerly cleaning the yard. Flashback is a 0 years day. The color turns to a dark yellow. The air is clear, but the sound is somehow tense and indescribable. Jerry, now young, wearing a festival dress, stands in front of a long table full of food. Narrator. That year, Jerry, a man of influence in the village, famous for his skillful hands and calculation, was chosen to organize the main festival. That festival should have been the happiest day of the year. Scene, people gather, drums and music play, the atmosphere is joyful. But in the crowd, a skinny old man, with a long white beard, torn clothes, trembling hands holding a bamboo stick, quietly walks forward. Old man, trembling, weak voice. I hope please give me some food. I have come from a long way looking for a lost son lost thee. Jerry is holding a tray of food. He looks at the old man with disdain. The people around gradually fall silent. No one speaks. Jerry, grudgingly. Who are you? Who invited you here? I cook enough food for guests, no portion for strangers. The old man smiles kindly, but his eyes flash with a strange look. The old man, gently. Just a bowl of water if you are so kind. Jerry suddenly pushes the old man, causing him to fall to the ground. The festival drums stop. The wind blows, leaves fall. Jerry, shouting, "Go away! Don't ruin the festival!" The old man slowly gets up, brushes his clothes, says nothing, just mumbles what sounds like an ancient prayer and turns to leave. A blackbird flies past his head. Narrator, in a lower, tense voice. No one knows that old man is not an ordinary person. Not everyone is allowed to enter the Engkanto's banquet table. Ni scenes after Mili festival. Night falls, the sound of rain falls suddenly, the wind howls. The fire in the kitchen suddenly goes out. Chows, the banquet table collapses, the pot of food smells bad, the well water turns dark brown. People. The water has turned to mud. The food has rotted. No one got sick yesterday, while is the whole village sick today. Something is wrong here. Jerry looked around with fear, sweat dripping down his forehead. But he kept quiet. Narrator. Jerry knew something was wrong, but he hid the truth. Because if the villagers knew, they would never forgive him. Jerry sat alone in front of the small fire. The silhouette of the old man with a silver beard appeared faintly in the fire. The wind blew. An invisible whisper echoed in Jerry's ear. "Ye party built on selfishness will only end in death." Fade to black, the background music sank, leaving a terrifying echo. 10 years have passed, the traces of that fateful festival have faded with time. But there are things, like mistakes, that never fade. Gina, gently, placing her hand on Jerry's shoulder. "Honey, how about this year we hold the festival again? Let the kids in the village have fun. Let us have chance to do it again." Jerry was silent. He looked out at the distant area. After a long while, he nodded. "Jerry." "Yes. It's time." Festival preparation scene. Folk music plays. People clean the communal house yard together, hang lanterns, and decorate the banquet table. The laughter is lively and exciting. Everyone is looking forward to a complete festival, the first time in Isa 0 years. Narrator. For the villagers, the festival is not just a party. It is a purification ritual. It is an occasion to drive away all bad luck. No one remembers the past clearly, but everyone feels. It has never ended. Alcar introduction scene. Jerry stands talking to a man named Nardo, a neighbor who helps with chores. Nardo whispers when Jerry complains about the lack of I cook. Nardo, in a low voice. "There's a man I know. No ordinary man. His name is Alcar. He cooks feasts. Strange but very good. He's cooked in places no one dares to go." Jerry frowns, hesitant. "Jerry. Do I know him?" Nardo. "Never met him. But trust me. If you want the perfect feast, you need him." Camera pans quickly toward the deep forest. A dark figure stands among the trees, face unclear. Wind blows unusually strong. Nardo's disappearance. A few days later, Jerry takes the guest list and walks around the village. When he arrives at Nardo's house, the scene turns cold and unusually quiet. Jerry knocks on the door, no one answers. He looks through the crack in the door. The house is empty, covered in cobwebs, except for a faded shirt hanging on the wall, the one Nardo wore when he introduced Alcar. Jerry, mumbling, "What the hell is this?" Camera angle from inside the dark house, as if something is looking at Jerry through the crack in the door. Lolo Andoy's encounter. That evening, Jerry and Gina are cleaning the lamps when Lolo Andoy, a respected old shaman, walks in. Leaning on cane, hunchback, sharp-eyes brother. Lolo Andoy, laughing and probing. Reorganizing. After all these years. Wow, that's a lot of guts. Gina, cheerfully. Well, I hope this year goes better. Lolo Andoy, silent for a moment, then lowering his voice. Just hope that thing that's asleep doesn't get woken up. The festival is a gift, but it can also be the key that opens the wrong door. Gina shudders, but Jerry smiles wearily. Jerry. We'll be careful, Lolo. Lolo Andoy retreats, his shadow blending into the night. Before he disappears, he turns to look at Jerry one last time, a long time. The camera zooms in on his aged eyes, as if seeing something others cannot see. The fateful night scene, Alcar arrives. The wind blows hard. The sound of insects stops. 3 knocks on the door, click, click, click. Jerry opens the door. In front of him is a tall, thin man with a bright face but eyes cold as stone. His eyes do not blink and his smile is razor thin. Alcar, gently. And my name is Alcar. I have come to cook a sacred feast for your village. Gina stands behind, squeezing Jerry's hand. Slow motion, Alcar's hand rests on the door frame, long fingers, clean nails, but the shadow doesn't match the light. Narrator, whispering. There are guests who don't need invitations, because they're predestined. And this time, they're not just coming to eat. While the rest of the village was sleeping, there was one man who did not sleep. No rest, no panting. No blinking. Alcar started the fire. No need for a lighter, the coals ignited when he touched them. The large cauldrons boiled without water. A strange aroma rose, sweet but tinged with the stench of cold blood. As he cooked, he muttered in a language no one understood. Sometimes Alcar stood motionless for hours under an old tree, his eyes staring straight up at the foliage, as if whispering to another world. Gina woke up in the middle of the night. She went out to look for Jerry and found Alcar stroking a dead black cat, blood dripping from his hand but his face still calm. Gina, shocked, trembling. Alcar, what are you doing? Alcar turns his head slowly, his eyes glowing in the darkness like those of a wild cat. Then he smiles, a smile that doesn't reach his eyes. Alcar, gently. Night is when the spirits wake up. They need to eat before humans. Gina jumps back, startled. The scene cuts quickly. The village dogs howl in unison as Alcar passes through the gate of the communal house. One dog, tail between its legs, collapses seconds after looking into his eyes. The festival begins. It's morning. Music is loud. People in traditional dress gather around the banquet table. 7 large cauldrons are steaming. The aroma is so fragrant that everyone is hungry. Narrator: no one remembers anything strange last night. No one heard the howling, the groaning, the cracking of pots. Only excitement and hunger. Jerry walks around, laughing and talking with the villagers. But his eyes still occasionally glance at Alcar, who is sitting in a corner, silent. Not eating. Not talking. Just looking. Gina whispering. Did you notice? His eyes, like piercing through Elai's skin. Jerry forced a smile. But he began to feel uneasy. A flash of memory, that gaze had looked at him 10 years ago. He seen view party that turned into hell. A child was eating chicken porridge suddenly stopped. His hands trembled. He collapsed on the table, vomiting a thick, black, fishy liquid mixed with blood. People screamed. A girl was eating menudo, falling backwards, black veins all over her face, eyes rolled back. An old woman was chewing a donut, frozen like a statue, collapsed to the ground. People. What's going on? Poison! Poison! Call the shaman. Call Lolo Andoy. A young man rushes to Lolo Andoy's house, but the house is empty, except for a half-burned talisman stuck to the door. The wind howls. No one answers. Jerry panics amid the screaming crowd, some convulsing, some fainting. He turns to look at Alcar, still sitting motionless, eyes unblinking. But at this moment, Jerry realizes something. The scene changes to slow motion. Alcar's eyes, the same eyes as the old man with the white beard from years ago, when he fell at Jerry's feet. No mistake. Jerry, speaking as if hypnotized, softly. It's you. You're back. Alcar slowly stands up. He walks towards Jerry. Not a sound. With each step he passes the withered banquet table, wilted flowers, black smoke rising from the food. Narrator whispering coldly. The price of indifference. It doesn't always come immediately. Sometimes it waits 10 years. Wait until you forget. Then return on the banquet table like the last dish. The scene is chaotic. Villagers scream, many have collapsed in the middle of the communal house yard. Thick black smoke rises from the pots of food. Jerry stands in the middle of the crowd, petrified. Alcar, still in human form, slowly approaches. But as his footsteps touch the center of the festival, the wind howls fiercely, the air darkens, and his true form begins to reveal itself. A red light flashes. Alcar retreats from his human form. His skin turns ashen gray, his eyes are white, his mouth is torn wide open in terrifying smile. Behind him, ancient tattoos automatically rotate. Alcar, voice booming, echoing. 10 years. 10 years you waited for this day. The day you opened the festival door to welcome your own sins. Jerry steps back, trembling. Gina hugs him. Around them, the villagers huddle, groaning in the dense darkness. Jerry, voice trembling. You are that old man. The one he used to. Alcar, interrupting, furious. Used to knock over. Used to chase away like dirty dog. You, Jerry, who organizes the festival but denies the humanity that is the only thing that makes the table alive. Alcar raises his hand. Black smoke from the pot of food curls into the shape of pained faces. The sound of children crying echoes from somewhere in the forest. A silver bell rings, clear, high, and bright. The wine stops. Everything seems to freeze for a second. From the end of the village road, Lolo Andoy appears. Dressed in white ceremonial gown embroidered with gold. In his hand he held an ancient anting-anting, and at his waist he wore short espada, bakakod, legendary weapon. Lolo Andoy, in a calm but majestic voice. Alcar. Engkanto is arrogant. You have no right to take the souls of those who have not yet learned their lesson. Alcar sneered, then shouted loudly. A wave of black energy shot towards Lolo Andoy. But he raised his anting-anting, a blue beam of light that repelled the darkness. It is spiritual valor. The two sides began to confront each other with ancient magic. Lolo Andoy recited the ancient oration, each sentence resounding like thunder, each sentence repelling a part of the darkness. Alcar shouted loudly. From his mouth he exhaled black smoke that formed the shape of a ferocious wild beast flying around the village. The people lay motionless, as if bound in a black dream. Gina whispered a prayer. Jerry is motionless, head bowed. Lolo Andoy shouting. Jerry, you must speak. Only when the owner admits his mistake can this house be freed. Jerry slowly stands up. His hands are clenched, his lips tremble. His eyes meet Alcar, now a giant demonic figure taller than the ancient tree. Confession Yemi sacrifice. Jerry steps into the middle of the magic circle. The wine swirls around him. He looks up to the air, then looks straight into the Engkanto's eyes. Jerry sobs, voice rising. I was wrong. 10 years ago, I knocked down a soul that was desperately searching for a child. I banished compassion, turned the festival into a show of bragging. And today if I have to atone for a mistake with my own life, then accept. As Jerry kneels, a white light falls from the eye onto him. The villagers' painful memories dissolve into smoke. The wine stops. The crying stops. Alcar, screaming loudly, piercingly. No. You will not be freed so easily. Alcar charges at Jerry. But Lolo Andoy swings the espadang bakakod, the blade shines like sunlight shining through the mountain. At the same time, the light in Jerry's palm explodes. The darkness is torn apart. Alcar's body explodes into golden dust. Black smoke rises into the air like a flock of scattered crows. The villagers gradually wake up, hazily as if they have just experienced a deep dream, remembering nothing but fear. Narrator slowly. A true apology can free an entire village from the darkness that has lasted for 10 years. Gina runs to hug Jerry tightly. Lolo Andoy bows his head slightly, his eyes heavy. At their feet, the pots of food turn to ash. The ground where Alcar stands is covered with black moss that will never grow again. The eye is blue. The wind is cool. The first light of day shines gently through the dewy leaves. The first sound, a sigh, but a relief. Narrator, in a slow, soft voice like a final lullaby. When the nightmare is over, there is only village left, as if waking from a long sleep. No one remembers clearly what happened. But everyone feels something very big has been washed away. Wakening after nearly nightmare. People wake up one by one. No one is hurt. They just feel tired, as if they have just overcome a strange fever. Children hug their parents. Old people have tears in their eyes. But when they return to the banquet table, there is no food left. All the pots and pans had turned to dirt, rocks and moss covered with gray-green as if they had never been used. People whispering, panicking. Daylight, is there nothing left? Did we eat anything? I only remember the fragrance, and then what? Jerry stood in the middle of the festival yard, his eyes silent. He said nothing. But from those eyes, people saw remorse, humility and awakening. Gina, blurry young memory. Gina sat in the room. Light streamed through the window. She looked at Jerry, surprised as if seeing him for the first time. She put her hand on her heart, feeling a vague fear, then shook her head slightly. Gina, whispering, I don't remember anything. Just remember that I was very scared. Very scared of losing you. Jerry squeezed his wife's hand gently, not speaking. But tears fell on the back of her hand. Lolo Andoy disappears. Early the next morning, a few villagers came to Lolo Andoy's house to thank and ask after her, but the little house was empty. Nothing but an old cloth bag. Inside was copper-colored anting-anting and a piece of paper with shaky handwriting. Reading voice, Jerry's quoting the letter. Evil never dies, it only waits for people to forget humanity. Keep this light. Not to fight, but to remind. Camera pans out. The back of a small old man is walking towards the deep mountains, his stick tapping the ground. Under his feet, wildflowers are blooming. New festival, more party. 1 year later, on the land where the festival was held, people no longer set up banquet tables or hang colored lights. They display fruit baskets, cups of water, flower lanterns, and notes with thank you notes. Narrator. From then on, the village festival was no longer a day of feasting, but a day of sharing food with the poor, visiting the elderly, burning incense for the deceased, and telling the story of a party that almost killed the whole village, if not for tolerance and a sincere apology. A little boy is playing alone near an old tree Ila, the stream where Alcar used to stand many nights. The boy stops, looks up at the tree's canopy. The wind blows gently. The camera switches to the child's perspective. Under the tree's shade, an old man with a long beard and silver-white clothes is sitting, smiling kindly. No one sees the old man, only the boy. And the boy nods slightly, as if to say, I understand. I will remember. The camera gradually moves away, sunlight filters through the leaves. The music rises softly, mixed with mystery and gratitude. There are apologies that cannot save the past, but they can save the future.